Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting season of Turning the Page with Jer
and Joe.
We've missed you all so much. It's been a few months since our last episode, and let me tell you, a lot has happened during our break. For starters, we have some wonderful news to share. We are now proud grandparents. Yes, that's right. We welcomed a beautiful grandchild into our family. But that's not all. We've also been busy with weddings, doing a bit of traveling. It's been a whirlwind, but we're thrilled to be back with you and ready to dive into season 5. So turn that volume up and get comfortable.
That's right, Jer. It's been an incredible few months filled with joy, love, and a bit of adventure. We can't wait to catch up with all of you and share our experiences. As always, we want to remind you that this podcast isn't a substitute for professional help. Instead, we're here to offer encouragement and lift you up during tough times. Whether you're going through a rough patch or just need a little inspiration, we've got you covered. So without further ado, let's get started with Season 5 of Turning the Page with Jer and Joe. We're so glad you're here with us. Oh my gosh.
Just kidding. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Jer and Jail podcast.
Today we're diving into a topic that's incredibly important but often overlooked, prioritizing your family first.
That's right. In a world where hobbies and other activities can easily take over, it's crucial to remember that our first responsibility and our ministry is to our family.
We'll be discussing how to find that balance, the importance of slowing down and investing time in our children and spouse to build a foundation that lasts a lifetime.
This is a hard balance.
It is.
A lot of times, just a story. I remember when I was younger, I was only 22, 23 years old, didn't have a profession yet, wasn't in my career. I was just working regular jobs, and I remember getting into a position where I had the opportunity to step up into other positions. So I started out as a regular employee, had an opportunity to become like a team lead, and then after becoming a team lead, I was able to become like a supervisor, or was a supervisor. And then from that, I had the chance to take an opportunity to become manager, because my boss was leaving. And I remember during that time, I had to prove myself. So the job wasn't just given to me and they said, oh yeah, we'll hire you and you do this. It was like, we'll give you an opportunity, but you're gonna work in this position for a little while. We'll see how things go, and if you can maintain and show that you can prove yourself, then we'll go and give it to you. Mm-hmm. So I really dove in and started putting my focus in that. And it didn't help the fact that at home relationship was not great, because that even pushed me more to just focus on my job. And by doing that, it was like I would stay late. Anytime they needed me, I would go in. Anytime something came up, I was like, I'm there, I'll be there. So, and it's easy to do that because a lot of times we put ourselves where we think we have to do more for a position because we need to make money, or we need a title, or we need some type of status,
Well, putting in all that work, a lot of people think that working so much and doing all these things, you're doing it for your family. You're putting in the hours to make money for your family. You're trying to advance your career for your family. It benefits your family. So that's what happens a lot of times. But then your family don't see you enough, and you don't get that quality time with them. You don't get to be part of all of your kids growing up.
Yeah, you start to miss a lot.
You miss a lot.
A lot of events, a lot of sports, a lot of subjects, or a lot of things that happen. The good thing with the position that I had at that time, I was able to make those things.
Good.
But it was the other part that I didn't want to make it for. No.
Are you talking about your marriage, Jared?
Yes, at that time. But let's go to the main discussions. Was segment 1, understanding importance of family first. What does that mean? Let's start by defining what it means to put your family first. It means making your family a top priority in all aspects of life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It means ensuring that our spouses and children feel valued, loved, and supported. It means being present and engaged in their lives.
And it's easy when you're going through that to put everything else first. You start putting hobbies first.
Yeah.
You start putting work first. Personal things that you want to do. Maybe you like running, or you like riding your bike, or you like going to wrestling, or you like going to whatever. A lot of times I don't think it's intentional at times when you are doing that, because a lot of times you don't see until way later that damage has happened.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that doing things for yourself, like if you like running and you want to run every day, great, do it. You should take care of yourself. You should feed your soul. You should, do things that you enjoy and like.
But when you're making that priority,
but when it's taking up all of your time and you're missing out on family time, that's when it's an issue. You can wake up early before your kids even wake up and get a running.
Yeah. You just have to set that time.
You just have to do it. You can involve your kids or your wife and your family. Involve them in your activities. If they don't like it, great. Find an activity you guys all can enjoy. Not saying give up your stuff. Just prioritize your family first, and then your stuff you can add in,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It comes down to scheduling certain things, and not putting priority over everything else. When your wife wants to go spend time with you, or if your wife wants to spend time with you and go grab dinner or go watch a movie, and you start putting everything, oh, I can't do that, I gotta do this. Oh, I can't do that, I gotta do this. Your kids want to do something, you put that on the shelf, or you put that on the back burner.
Well, I remember when Carter was younger, like the toddler years, especially an only child, he had no one to play with. So who does he want to play with? Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
And, it could be where, I can't remember like a specific example of him doing this, but I know several times he would come and he would want something. He'd want to play a game, or he would need attention for something. Or I remember many times like pushing him away and saying, not right now, Carter, I'm busy. Not right now, Carter, I'm busy. That was like a very popular phrase in my household with Carter growing up. And it wasn't that I was busy. It was like not busy in the sense where I'm doing a lot of things and I'm like, I can't help you right now. It's like I'm busy up here in my mind.
Your mind is busy.
My mind is busy. My heart is busy. I'm thinking about a million things. Yes, I might be doing the dishes, but could I have stopped and paused and taken just 30 minutes? Of course I could have.
Yeah.
I just chose not to. And so that's what I mean is like, you can't, first of all, you can't right your wrongs. You can't change your past, right?
No.
But you can, if you're aware, you can address it and you can fix it now. And so like now that he's a teenager, I find myself more aware, and I try to be more intentional. It is very difficult for me, but I do. Like just even the other day, and I mentioned this to you earlier last week, is that, as teenagers, we're like always in the car going to some kind of practice, going to some kind of thing he needs to go to. And so most of our conversations are in the car, or at home, like right before bed, because he's always doing something, or he's in his room, teenagers, but we were in the car and he was telling me a story. He was telling me about practice. He was telling me all his details. He was telling me about his friends and his group texts with some friends. And he was telling me a lot of things, okay? Now, mind you, I just got off work. I'm picking him up. So it's, for me, if you're anything like me, I like to unwind after work.
You want some quiet time.
I need quiet time by myself in my car with music or even no music. And even when I get home and I park in the garage, I stay there for a few minutes. I don't go in right away. A lot of times. Not all the time, but most of the time. Like the other day, you came in the freaking garage.
Yeah, I was
and
ready
I'm
to
like,
see you.
go inside. I'm not ready
No.
to come inside yet.
I was not
And
ready
he
for
just
that.
busted out ready to kiss me. And I'm like, I was like, I need my car time. But anyways, that was besides the point. What I was getting to is Carter was telling me all of this stuff. And I was aware that I was like doing that mindless listening. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Like, you know, you just respond. And I caught myself and I had to mentally tell myself, stop, pause, pay attention. He's talking to you. He's actually talking and giving you details. Like, you want to pay attention. Do not let this moment slip away. And so I was aware. I brought myself back and then I engaged. Because when you're just nodding, you're just shaking, you're like, oh yeah, They can sense and they can tell when you're not paying attention. Several times on occasion, I guess, he has told me in the past, like, you're not even listening. And then he just shuts down and he stops talking. And I'm like, no, I am. Go ahead. No, I know. Go ahead. What were you saying? That's it. It's over right there. So now that I'm more aware and I catch myself and I tell myself, okay, engage. Like, I literally have to tell myself that. It's just so much better. And so that's what I mean by being present, like finding that balance. Like, how can you find that balance? And it's just being aware, being intentional, maybe setting some boundaries, you know? Yeah, so that's something I recently experienced, and I'm glad because he's already going on 16 and I don't know what he's doing after high school, so I feel like I don't have a lot of time to fix what I missed or fix what I broke or fix like our past together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely been hard as a mother for me lately because I think about these things and I find myself sitting in the car crying sometimes because I'm like, oh my gosh, I only have like 3 more years. And I'm like, how did the time go by so fast? That's how I've been feeling lately. So prioritizing family has been really important to me lately.
I think you're hard on yourself though.
You do?
Based
of course you do.
on because what do you set your expectation as far as parenting? Where do you get that from, that expectation that you set?
I don't know. Where do I get my expectations as a parent?
Mm-hmm.
I know where you're going, but
No,
that's
I don't
not.
know.
No, I don't.
I don't even know where I'm going.
Were you gonna say I set my expectations based on my experience from my parents?
I don't know.
Because that's not at all.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that because in order to say, okay, when you start saying to fix what's broken and to kind of like meet like an expectation that you have, like no parent is perfect.
No. Yeah.
No parent does anything perfect. We all have areas in parts of our parenting with our children that has some type of damage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have brothers and sisters. I only had my mom and dad, and that was just like, I had cousins and stuff that came around, but the upbringing is different. So I don't, when I try to compare like my parenting skills or stuff, I guess I look at my parents when I do that. But then I also look at like everyone's different. Everything is different when you.
So, I don't compare how I parent to how other parent. I don't compare how I parent to how others parent. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a tongue twister. But I guess I don't know where my expectations come from, but how I view my parenting, I do think I'm a great parent. Yes, of course I do. But we all fall short in that area. Like, there's no manual on how to be a parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every child is different, so you have to like learn with your child, sometimes adapt. Like,
Yeah.
but
You learn from failures. You learn from mistakes.
I think it's mostly like the feedback that I get from my child.
Okay.
So if he's telling me I'm doing something and he doesn't like it, I'm like, oh, okay, gotcha. Like, oh, you never spent time with me. We haven't been on a date in a long time. I'm like, okay. He is noticing a change. He's noticing that I've taken a step back. He's noticing. So that is where I come in and I start thinking, okay, what can I do differently? What am I doing wrong? Or what can I improve? If that answers your question. Like, I don't really have expectations as a parent. I just go off of what
His feedback.
his feedback is.
That's good.
Like, I yell too much, or, you know, he's really good. He wants quality time. He wants physical touch. So I try to go off of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so segment 3, or part 3 on this, is one that you've been speaking a lot to and saying that's something that you need to do in all aspects, not just parenting or, you know, in a lot of areas. This is something that you've been wanting to do. And it's slowing down. Slowing down is essential in a fast-paced world. It's easy to rush through life without truly connecting with our loved ones. And that's true. A lot of times we get so caught up in what we're doing that we forget to just connect.
Yeah.
We don't take the time to touch and hold hands and say that.
That's
you know,
not true. You touch me
sometimes.
a lot. But no, yes, I think that taking time to unplug from your phone, unplug from that iPad, from
That's hard.
from the PlayStation that Carter loves so much, or even the TV. Like, unplugging from all technology and spending quality time together, whether you go for a hike or, like, one of the things that we do. Oh, am I boring you?
No.
One of the things that we do when Carter is with us, on his week with us, is we have dinner together every night. Unless there's like a game, like a, you know, he plays soccer now, so unless there's a soccer game or something like that we have to attend, but we always sit at the kitchen table and eat together. That is something very important to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll eat on the sofa on occasion, like, okay, let's watch a movie. But we always sit at the table, we pray before our meal, and we talk. Like, we have a rule, there's no cell phones allowed at the table. Carter knows he better not bust that phone out, because I will take it away. On occasion he has, and I'd have to be like, get off the phone, hold on, I'm looking something up, I need to show you something. So on that case, okay, you're sharing something with me, okay, maybe I'll let that slide. But most of the time I'm like, put your phone away, we're gonna talk. Like, how was school? Tell me how, you know, whatever you want to talk about. Like, the other night at dinner, we were at the table and I was like, so how are you liking soccer? And he told me, like, the coach, like, the players, like, are you missing football? And because he normally plays football. And he goes, yeah, sometimes, but I really do like the soccer. So he chose to play soccer this year. Who knows what he'll do next year? Maybe he'll go back to football. Maybe he'll stay at soccer. I don't know. Never know with this kid. He's always changing his mind. But we talked about that, and, you know, he shared some funny stories from his trip and that he took visiting family this summer, and like, are you ready for school? And he starts driving school in September, so we talk about that. Like, you just make conversation. And so dinner time, it's quality time, it's important.
Yeah.
Your kid talks to you, hopefully. Trying to get a teenager to engage can be difficult sometimes, yeah.
He usually does that with you, though. A lot of times when you guys are either driving to school in the mornings or sometimes at the dinner table, he'll bring up stuff. But.
No, he does, and he like asks philosophical questions sometimes. Like he wants to know the answers to, and I'm like, I am not Google. I do not know the answer, and when I don't know the answer, I don't know if he's figured this out yet, but when I don't know the answer, I tell him to Google it. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you. You Google it.
Yeah.
I'm like, do your research.
It's good.
I'm not kidding. But really, it's because I don't really know the answer. Or I do know the answer, but I don't know how to explain it to him. Like, I can't articulate it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's Google it together. Sometimes I'm like, let's Google it together.
But that's good because it actually makes him look for the information. And
he doesn't always
when you
look for it,
typically do that, though, you remember it more.
That is true, yeah.
And those are things that we should do is dive deeper into stuff and figuring out things that we have questions to. So
yeah.
So investing in your children, this is one thing that means more than just providing for their needs. It's about nurturing and growing their emotional and spiritual well-being. And a lot of times, we just think that providing for them, and we feed you, we give you a place to sleep, go do something. But the emotional, especially in this day and age, and the time that we live in right now with culture, the emotional and mental part is so important.
Yes.
The spiritual part is most important. But that you see so many kids that are just, oh my gosh, their minds are just out there.
Oh yeah.
And there's so much stuff happening. There's so much stuff with these agendas that are going on, and trying to be pushed on children, and trying to be pushed in schools, and being pushed in everywhere we turn and look. Something's being forced on us. And the spiritual part of it, like, we have to really emphasize on that and make that part of our lives, because once that spiritual part is gone, then you have nothing to measure to.
No, I think it's very important. Like, I pray for Carter's school year every year. I pray over him and for him. If I'm driving him on the weeks I have him, if I'm driving him to school, we pray in the car before he even leaves the car. I'm like, okay, let's pray. And he knows we're going to pray. And I just pray for protection. And I pray, for his teachers. I pray for him to be intentional in class and to gain all the knowledge. And I just pray for a lot of things, but mostly protection. And not just protection from like physical protection, but protection from all spiritual entities, protection from freaking children who aren't raised right. Kids are mean nowadays. I just pray for protection over everything, right? And for his friends, I pray for good influences and to remove any bad influences. This is an everyday, every year thing that I've just done since he was in elementary school. Yeah. And so I think that is important, is spending time with them, yes, and supporting their interests and their sports and all that. But that spiritual aspect is also important, and letting your kids see that part. You can pray behind closed doors, and you don't have to pray with them. You can pray on your own over them, but actually showing them that and sharing those prayers that you pray over them every day, and including them in it, and laying your hand on them while you're praying over them, that stuff. They need to see that stuff, because then they're going out into the world. And I feel like it just makes their day start even better. Oh my gosh, my mom prayed for me this morning. He can conquer his day. He knows he can come home to someone who is safe, someone who is there for him, someone who will help him feel secure. And so I think that is very important, and they need to know that. They need to witness that.
Yeah, absolutely.
we were on investing in your children. So investing in their spiritual health, that's part of that, right? And then we talked about spending quality time with them, listening to them, engaging with them. You know, this is all from like the toddler ages up until they leave your house. Because, you know, when they're newborn, it's a little bit different, right? They just need nurturing. They need hugs and cuddles, and they need to be changed and fed. That's pretty much it. But they soak up so much at that age. Like, you can talk to them. You can pray over them. You can read to them. You can start feeding their minds, their little brains, with, like, good stuff, right?
Yeah.
From the time that they're even in the womb. So it starts really early. And then being involved in their education. You know, Carter's teachers, they'll reach out to me, and I will be involved as soon as they tell me he's not doing something. I'm there. I even told him, I was like, if you ever mess up in school so bad where you're failing like all your classes, trust me, I will be there every single day for a whole week. I will take off work, and I will go and sit right next to you at the desk, and I will ask for permission. I'll do everything, and I'm like, oh, and they're saying, hey, who can answer this question? I'm like, Carter can, right here. He'll answer, even if it's wrong. I don't care. Like, I would be that mom. Maybe not a whole week. Okay, maybe it's like 3 days. But
that'll put a fire under them.
It does.
Want to be better and do better. So.
It does. He doesn't. Yeah.
So there's a lot when it comes to investing in your children, and you know, for people that may not have the spiritual side of this operating in their family, what would you say would be something that helps that grow?
The connection helps. You mean
help to if
they don't have
for
the
someone that
spiritual.
doesn't have the spiritual side, and they say, well, how do you build a spiritual side? Like, do we just pray, or do we just believe that we have a spiritual side? Or
No.
Because you think about it, and some people do.
Yeah.
They don't really. A lot of people don't go to church. A lot of people don't participate in weekly or weekend services.
Mm-hmm.
And that tends to happen a lot more now that we hear, like, in the Christian faith. A lot of people are trying to stay away from that. So how would you say
yeah, you can pray. You don't need to go to church to pray, right? But you can read your Bible at home. You don't need to go to church.
But it helps, right?
It does help. You don't need to go to church to read your Bible, to pray with your child. You don't need any of that. You don't need church. But it helps to have the community, and that's why we go to church, is to be involved, to serve in God's kingdom, because He has called us to serve others, and because of the community.
Yeah.
It helps, you know, that phrase, it takes a village. It takes a village to what? It takes a village to raise your children. I kind of believe that. It doesn't take just mom and dad. There's a lot of outsiders. You got aunts, you got uncles, you got other adults.
A lot of influences.
A lot of influence. A lot of adults in your children's lives. Their teachers, their friends, their parents, their friends' parents. You know, so being part of a church helps build that community, helps build those influences in your children's lives. Like, there are people at our church that Carter looks up to, that Carter goes and talks to. Like, it's part of it. Like, you cannot be with your child 24/7.
No.
So teach them to judge good character. Teach them to recognize bad character. You know, you can't protect them from everything, but you can instill values at home that will help them out there, right? And investing in your children and spending quality time with them and slowing down. These are all things that help your child feel secure and confident.
Yeah. It's important to be present, and not just be present as being there, but be present in their growing
because
up.
you can be present like this, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they're like all next to you, but you're not.
Well, how many times do you see that?
You're not mentally present.
There's many times we go places and we see families, and they're sitting at tables or
all on their
having
phones.
dinner. Go to Olive Garden and there's a family of 4, and 3 of them are all on their phone, and one person just sitting there like.
So I recently took my computer and was working from home from a coffee shop at Satellite, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was Satellite?
Mm-hmm.
Flying Star? I think it was Flying
Satellite.
Okay. And there was a mom with 2 kids that came in for like a little coffee date. And her kids were like, they had to have been at least 4 or 5. They were young, okay? A boy and a girl. And I'm sitting across from them, just kind of listening a little bit. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but I heard her tone with them and how she engaged with them. There was no electronics. They all had their cute little coffee cups. And she was like, so we're going to do this and we're going to have this. I don't remember what she was saying about what they were doing, but she was like, who should we invite? And so they started telling her, oh, well, we should invite so-and-so. And she goes, that's a good idea, but they're out of town that week, so who else should we invite? And then the girl would be like, oh, we should invite them. Okay, and who else do you think we can? Like, she was just engaging and
Making
at their level. Yeah, and so paying attention. I thought it was the sweetest thing. I almost went up to her to tell her, you are doing an amazing job, and you're a great mom, and I love this.
That's awesome.
But I didn't tell her. I just thought it.
Yeah.
I'm usually more vocal, but I had to get like to my dentist appointment.
Yeah.
But so there is sometimes it's rare, but you do see that stuff. It still happens, which is awesome, and it's just really rare.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I thought that was beautiful.
It is. You know, when you see someone engaging like that, you know, and they are 100% present, that's huge. You know, it's when you're paying attention to them and you're including them in your conversations and not making them feel like, well, you're way too young, you don't understand anything, which isn't the case. You know, we notice that kids, even 2-3 years old, are understanding like things that back in the old days you probably didn't, you know.
So some people don't have kids that are teenagers or even grade school. You know, they have newborns. Touched a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But what about those kids who are already grown? The ones that are past the age of 18. So I recently watched one of my favorite TikTokers. I forget her name, but she's one of my favorites. Anyways, she had this post, and I was scrolling and came up, and she talked about having your grown adult children living with you at home. And this is like over the age of 18, right? Because the society says, oh, they're 18, they're adults, okay? My family has always said that. Oh, they're 18, they're out of the house, they're adults, they can make their own decisions. And I don't really agree with that, because I remember myself at the age of 18. I didn't make a lot of wise choices, okay? And a lot of dangerous choices. And I learned from watching her TikTok that, one, you know, that the human brain doesn't actually fully develop to the age of 25. So here we have 18-year-olds in America leaving the house, going to college, like doing all these things on their own at the age of 18, when their brain isn't even fully developed till they're 25. Okay. So anyways, this TikToker I love, she has 3 boys, and they live with, they still live at home. And I think they're in their age, like in the ages of 20s, like it's like 20, 22, 24, something like that. And, you know, they're dating, they have girlfriends, like they're doing all that. But she talks about how after they turn 18, they still need guidance. You've raised them up, you've, you know, given them hopefully good values, and you've taught them things. But now, from ages 18 to 25, you have to go into managing mode, right? You become a manager. You're not really like nurturing, taking care of them, washing their clothes, doing all these things for them. No, it's like you facilitate.
Yeah.
Right? You guide.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they come to you, then you help them. Like if they say, "Hey, Mom, think about doing this. I don't know if I should go this route or this route," and you're like, wait a minute, you got to think about this, and what about this? And you have to think about this, because us as parents, we've lived it. We've been there. Oh, you want to get your own apartment? Okay, let's see how much you make. Okay, what bills do you have besides the rent? Do you have car payment? Do you have car insurance? Do you have a cell phone? How much is gas? How much do you plan on spending on groceries? You got to teach them about budgeting, because they know nothing about that. I knew nothing about that. I went into the world knowing nothing about money, and I had to learn the hard way.
Most of us didn't.
True.
It's just like we got money and it was like, okay, I can spend it.
And you know where we learn that from? Our parents.
Yeah.
Your parents are supposed to be the ones to guide you, to show you these things, make sure that you fly and you fly well, right? And a lot of times that's not what happens. It's not the case. So I'm definitely doing things a little bit differently with my kid. But it's important to still be involved and engaged in your adult child's life too. Like even with Christian, he's married.
Yeah.
He now has a kid, right? He's 4 months now. Christian is what, 24?
He'll be turning 25 in September.
In September. Okay, so his brain will be fully developed next month. Yay! I'm going to tell him that. But, so anyways, even at his age now, and he'll come to us asking for advice.
Yeah.
Because they still need their parents. They just need them in a different capacity.
Yeah.
So maintaining that family priority with your adult children is also important. Like be available, I would say, for your adult children. Like be available for when they do come to you.
In that age now, like even with Christian, like the point that we're at with him now, I guess it's still kind of in a guidance mode, but a lot more now, it's more of a suggestion and allowing them to take what you share with them.
And they can decide.
And they decide where they want to go with it. You give them both sides of it. Well, this, Dad, what should I do with this? And then you give them both sides of it, and you say, here's probably why you shouldn't do it, and here's why I think you should do it. And then they take that and go, and a lot of times, there's things that are completely obvious, that you don't want to do and you should do because of experiences that we've gone through where we've failed multiple times in that area, and then now we're successful in a sense in it, but it's more or less suggestion, I guess. It's still guidance, but
no, they still need to know that you're there, to assist in any way.
Yeah. The next segment is investing in your spouse. This is my favorite.
Of course it is.
Our relationship with our spouse is a cornerstone of a strong family. And man, that's so true. If your relationship with your spouse is not solid, your family's not going to be solid. There's many times that I go and I start thinking back of like my grandmother and grandparents or people that were in our lives, and a lot of times when those people pass away, the whole family falls apart.
Yeah.
And investing in your spouse is vital. That's important. If you don't set the example and we don't have a relationship, then as soon as something goes wrong, I think everything just falls apart. And then our children don't have an example to put it to, like what a good relationship should be, or how should a relationship function.
Yeah, like when Carter told us in the car a couple weeks ago how he's so mad. He goes, "You guys make me mad," and I was like, "Why?" He goes, "Because you guys never fight. I've never seen you guys argue." I'm like, well, that's a good thing, son. We're setting a really great example right now.
It's possible.
We have our disagreements, but we're not going to be all loud about it. I'm not gonna like yell and throw things and like make a scene.
No, we talk things out, and
Yeah.
I think it's, if there's something that's bothering you, you bring it up and you tell me. If there's something that isn't going right, then we discuss it. I mean, it's not something that we have to get upset about and be like, well, you don't do this and you don't do that, and then I'm going to give you the silent treatment because I'm upset about something.
Right.
You can adjust it. See?
I'm trying.
Tilt it like forward more, your mic. Right there. No?
It's this black thing.
Try squeezing this part and pushing it down a little bit. There you go. Like that.
Okay.
So investing in your spouse and building that relationship is crucial. You just have to have that example of what a relationship could be, and should be. So yeah, we don't argue that much. I mean, we have times we get on each other's nerves and stuff, but we don't have these big drawn out fights where I'm leaving the house and you're sleeping on the couch, because you would sleep on the couch. I wouldn't sleep on the couch.
The couch is comfortable. But our guest bed is even more comfortable.
Very, very true.
So you're saying that investing in your spouse is also part of prioritizing your family, right? Because your family's not just your kids, it's also your spouse.
Yeah.
So your spouse comes before your kids, because you guys were together before kids even came.
And you're going to be together
After they're gone. So yes, your spouse. So yes, your spouse is very important. And it also trickles down to your kids, because they see your relationship and you're modeling what a relationship looks like, a healthy one, what it should be, and they're seeing everything.
Yeah. So that's important. Invest time in it. Invest time with each other. One of the things that we get to do a lot is we spend a lot of time with each other. We do things together. Now that you've been on this exercise running thing for a marathon that you're going to be doing,
I am so happy.
I'm participating with you, even though I don't like
Hold
it
on.
and I don't want to,
Wait.
but I'm doing it.
I need to say something. I am so proud of you. So I literally was like, listen, I need to do something. I need to change my habits. I need to get back into it, my passion for running. So I joined a half marathon. I didn't think this guy was going to join me. I mean, he's not running the half marathon, but he is joining me on my runs, on my training. And so, even this morning, I went to go run with my running coach at 6:30 in the morning. We did 5 miles this morning. And Jeremy, when I left, he was still in bed. I fed the dogs. I'm like, okay, he's going to sleep in today.
I did.
He slept longer probably, but I came home and he had
extra half hour.
Just finished running. I'm like, you were running? He's like that.
Wow, it was not that dramatic.
It was pretty close. Anyways, he gets up from the sofa. Okay, let's go eat. I'm ready to go eat. And I'm like, I can't. I have a photo session at 10. I can't go eat. I'm going to make a shake. Anyways, I'm like, how long did you run? He was like, pulls out his phone and shows me 4.1 miles. You could have gone with us to run 5.
No. I had the dogs.
I'm just so proud though, because you are running even though you don't like it. But I think that you will learn to love it. Because you don't run because you like it or love it. You actually don't even, you run for, basically for
a
me.
naked body.
No.
That's my motivation. I'm running for a naked body. Right now I don't have. Have you seen those pictures of the monkey standing up and his little legs and big old belly?
The orangutan?
Yeah, I feel like that.
You mean something like this? You better put a picture of an orangutan right there.
You can't do that. That's my thing.
Let's compare. Let's do a side by side.
Wow,
Jared
it's
and
not
the
that-
orangutan.
it's not
Side
that
by
different.
side. Yes, it is. Babe, your body naked is fine. I love it. Anyways, listen. No, you run, at least for me, for your mental sanity, to cleanse your mind, to de-stress, to get rid of your anxiety. Like, that's what I do. That's why I enjoy running. I don't like starting, but once I'm done, man, I feel
it does feel good after.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that after you're done and you've accomplished it,
Mm-hmm.
man, it feels good. It's like,
So-
I'm so glad I done that. I can do this more often.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
So hold on to
But
that
I had a hard
feeling.
time getting up this morning.
Hold
but I still did.
on to that feeling, babe.
Don't drop that love feeling.
No.
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 Okay.
But yes, so your spouse is your investing in your spouse is a priority because they come first, and it is prioritizing your family, and your spouse is your family first, then your kids, and then just it all trickles down into this beautiful family.
Well, that's a good point to end on, because the next part that we go into is building a lasting foundation. So, building a foundation that lasts a lifetime involves creating a home filled with love, respect, and support.
Okay. It's about modeling positive behaviors. It's also about teaching values, which we did touch a little bit on, and fostering an environment where everyone feels safe and valued. And I would like to add secure. So this foundation will actually help your family, through any storm that comes your way, good or bad.
Do you know what that's a sign for? That
What is it?
You're not safe. That you need help.
That is not a sign for you. Don't act like you know how to sign.
Yeah. These are big things. Love in a home is huge. Respect in a home is huge.
Yeah.
And of course, supporting each other. I think we hit all of those. Oh my gosh, you
High
are
five!
like support woman over here.
Boom!
You are like my
100%.
love muffin, my sourdough love muffin.
I don't like muffins.
Okay.
How about cake?
I love cake.
I know.
I like cake a lot. I don't really have a whole lot to say on this one. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Those are.
Wait, what's obvious?
That you have to have love, respect,
No.
support,
That's not obvious.
positive behaviors. No.
Do you know how many families are out there that would say this is not obvious?
How many?
Try like more than half of America. Do you think that people in America actually grow up like that? Do you think that they grow up with love and respect and support in their household? Heck no.
No, not all of
Have you seen the families out there?
No.
You don't people watch?
I TV watch.
I'd be at Walmart, I people watch.
True.
Target, I people watch.
Yeah,
It
there are
doesn't matter
some
where I go, I'm people watching. There's
rough-
some crazy families out there.
rough ones.
So no, this is not obvious to everyone. That is my opinion.
Well, that's true.
Take it or leave it.
That's true. I think just in my experience, I assume that it's
Yeah. In your
obvious.
little Jeremy bubble.
Yeah. I
A
love
little
my bubble.
Jeremy perfect bubble.
Everyone should have my
You
bubble.
have a perfect bubble.
No, I don't have a perfect bubble, but I have a bubble, and I like my bubble.
Growing up, would you say that you had love, respect, and support?
Yes.
You did. And
Yeah.
you had
I
that
had love at
foundation.
home.
You
I
have
had
that
love at home.
foundation that lasts a lifetime.
I believe so.
Okay.
Because I had the love at home, I had the support. My parents were always respectful towards each other. There's times that they would, I never remember them having like a big argument. I never rarely ever heard them arguing. Once in a while, like I'd hear them frustrated or something, but that's usually because with the business that they had. But yeah, I don't know. They must have.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you something.
Yeah.
I just thought of something. This is how my brain works. I think about random stuff. Okay, so if you had the opportunity to play guitar with your favorite band and go on tour, for a year. Would you go and leave your family behind because you can't take us?
No.
Shut the front door.
No, I wouldn't.
That wouldn't be my answer.
I wouldn't. Because if I don't see you for a whole year...
I go visit you in some shows here and there.
Yeah, but even that, how well does your relationship maintain through that? Of seeing each other once a month?
FaceTime?
No. I need...
You need your touch. I was just curious. I knew you'd say that because I know you, boo-boo.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know what I would have said if it was me?
What?
I would have negotiated. I would have been like, listen, I'd be glad to go tour with you for a whole year, but I need my boo thing, and I need you to make room for him. You know what I mean? You don't have to play, but you need to come. I don't care. Give him a job. He could be a manager, whatever it is, but he's going, or I don't go. And see what they say, because the worst that can happen is they say no. And you know what? If they really want you, they won't say no. They'll negotiate.
She needs a social media videographer. Yeah.
It was just a hypothetical question.
No, I mean, something like that would be, of
Right.
course. But
okay.
when you're talking about being away
Yeah.
and just like, okay, out of 352 days a year, and I'm gone for 310 of those days. No.
Okay.
I don't want only 42 days out of the whole year.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question.
If I was single, I would.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
You better. If Elijah had the opportunity to visit, I don't know, Japan or the Great Wall of China or just something amazing, or even like his first experience of like Disney World or whatever the case may be, would you miss it? Because of work?
No.
You would ask for, hey, I need this time off because my son...
I'd make it happen.
What if they say, no, Jer, you can't get off?
I got another job. I can get another job.
Shut up.
I can.
What's your job?
I could get another job.
To go see the Great Wall of China?
Yeah.
And it would, and you had to pay for it because they're not going to pay for you.
No, I don't want to pay for it.
I'm just giving you hypothetical questions now. Give me one. I want one. I want a question. I want a hypothetical.
Well.
What? Give me a hypothetical question.
Okay. What if Carter had the opportunity to go study overseas and go to Paris?
Let's go. Say less.
No, not you.
Oh.
Him. He can go and attend a high school out there for...
High school?
Yeah. He can go out there and go attend a school for... How long is a semester of high school?
It's August through December. It's about 5 months or 6.
So for 10 months, he would have the opportunity to fly to Paris. He'd be able to live with a family out there.
Okay.
And go to school. Would you allow him to go for 10 months?
Yes.
Ooh.
But I would move there.
No. This is for him, not you.
You're telling
like an
me...
exchange student. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Wait. But not in high school.
Yeah. You know how many
Actually, you're right.
students I've seen?
No, you're right.
There was a girl that came from France, I think, or... I don't know. It was in high school.
Okay.
Blonde,
first of all,
blue-eyed girl. She was like really pretty.
I do remember having an exchange student at school
too. She
too.
had a thick accent. Yeah.
And live with a
family that.
It's not a foster home, but it's a what's it called when they're
exchange student. What do they call them? Exchange.
They're
students.
exchange students.
But you're like
foreign
a host.
A host, yeah, to stay with the host family. That's what it's called, a host family. If he really wanted to, I don't know.
That'd be hard.
It'd be hard because
10 months.
That's a whole other family I know nothing about.
FaceTime.
I would have to do my FBI secret searches, okay? And like Google these people. I don't know them. And foreign country, are you kidding me? Do you know what they do to Americans in foreign countries? I mean, I don't know. I've only been in Mexico. But I I watch movies. Read articles. It's not always fun and games, right? I think I would feel better if I was there.
Well, of course you would. You'd want to be there, so.
I'd get a job out there. I'd be a host family.
Yeah.
But I would have to say no to that one because you know what? I would be missing out on a whole year of my adolescence life. Absolutely not. Not unless I get to go.
Yeah. All right. Well,
all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for my hypothetical.
Isn't that something you wanted to do? I know it was after
not in high school.
It was after high school.
Studying abroad in college. Yeah, I wanted to study in Spain for the summer. Not even a whole year.
That'd have been like 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That is a dream of mine.
Well, prioritizing your family first is a lifelong commitment. We know that.
Yes.
It's something that you can always grow, you can always continue to build on, and it's not always easy. That's one thing that we do know. But the rewards are amazing, and you can make it happen. And if you invest in it, and you're part of it, and you prioritize, if you're strategic in it, if you make sure that you're doing things that are going to help your family grow, great results will come out.
Yeah.
And these are even areas. Even as we're sharing this, like there's things that come to mind that we know, man, we can build on that a little bit. We could do better on this.
Yeah,
we can,
for sure.
So, whatever those areas are, allow those thoughts that come up and say, maybe you're not spending enough time. Maybe you're not being affectionate with your child or whatever, or your spouse or whatever, Whatever those areas are, don't just let them go, pay attention to them and see how you can build on them, put some time in it and see what it does, Once you start showing attention to those areas that might have been neglected, to bring some good changes. So.
Yes, it
Lots of sacrifice. There's a lot that you sacrifice to make things happen.
What do you mean?
In our relationship.
Me?
Mm-hmm. You work a full-time job. I work a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
When we're all home, you make an effort to make the home a place of peace, a place of love. And you do that by, a lot of times, by cooking and by keeping things clean and
making
by
your coffee.
In a sense, serving in certain areas and doing it because, not that you have to, because you choose to. And that makes us feel loved. That makes us feel like, man, my wife likes me.
Well, I do like serving my family, yes. I cook, I clean. I don't like them cleaning, so I clean,
I clean when she doesn't look.
And then I go and do it again.
And it still looks like I don't clean, even with our dogs around.
But no.
I got the rainbow the other day and I used the sweeper.
You did?
Did you notice?
Did you like it? I like using the actual vacuum for that.
I know it kind of pushed the hair and then finally picked things up. But the one of the things that it did get a lot of stuff that was on the floor. So it did work, but the vacuum part, it feels like it does more.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's got a
By you,
little
on a
spinners.
tangent.
Yeah, sorry. Anyways.
Well, anyways, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us on our second episode of season 5, and that we hope that this has, brought something to your family. Because remember, family is your first priority. It is your ministry, your first ministry. You can serve at church. You can do your work. You can be a runner. You can be a sourdough bread maker. You can sell rainbows. My husband just started doing that. You can be in market. You can do whatever you want, but your first priority is your family, and they are your first ministry. It starts at home. And so invest in them, cherish them, build relationship with them, and you'll see that it will last a lifetime.
Yeah. Where there's areas that might be neglected, pay attention to it.
Be aware.
Yeah.
Talk to yourself.
make an effort to change it. Things can change. Things can get better. So,
well, thank you for tuning in to Turning the Page with
Jer
and Jell, and we'll see you next time.